Good morning, everyone. It's May 29th. We got the Grumpy Trade Long Range EPS scam. Let's get into it. Figured we'd dive into NVDA first. Exciting earnings report pushing the market here. So we got NVDA gapping up to this 142. You can see we have this VP cluster above and this little bit of overhead supply where NVIDIA's had some trouble into the past. So be mindful of this big gap up, 5% already here. So we'll see if NVIDIA wants to consolidate at this 140 range or just continue to get going back up to 150. We're digging it into here, monitoring something like this to potentially play out today. Is if we hold above the daily VWAP all day, innocent until proven guilty. But if we break this daily VWAP, monitor for a little breakdown, maybe back down into this 139, undercut the 140, then we can take a backside scalp back into that VWAP, consolidate, get back above the VWAP for a fashionably late scalp, then start rallying up back into that pre-market high. And then we start to look something like this with that daily VWAP, so to speak. So from this area, we'll then be able to see if this breaks down, maybe take a trade into that VWAP, that backside, look for the fashionably late to trade up into here, look for some type of hitchhiker to trade for that play back into 145 and that 150 push. If we don't get back above the daily VWAP on the backside and we break these, can't hold higher highs and higher lows, additional weakness may come down into this 2-day VWAP at this 136.76 premises. Might as well talk about Tesla as well. So we could see here Tesla, we're gapping up a little gap up so far. It's given up some of these gains since yesterday's close. But what we're looking for here is to see if price, we'll just dig into this 10-minute time frame and do a same map scenario. So we could potentially be putting in the backside right now, back to that VWAP. So if we hold that VWAP, fashionably late scalp back up into potentially this 367.70, look for this hitchhiker back up to this 368 for a push into that 370 premises. If we're unable to get above the daily VWAP, guilty till proven innocent. And what we would want to do is monitor, if we fail this VWAP or don't even get to it, monitor additional weakness down into this 363.90, yesterday's close, potentially flush underneath it, get some shorts excited, reclaim yesterday's close, and that could be where we actually get some buyers to step in. So that's the long scenario. If we trade underneath this 2-day VWAP, this 360, it's the line in the sand. And if we break underneath this VP in 2-day, that potentially buyers could be losing control and a further pull back down to this down into this 355 premises could be poised. So getting to some of the stocks on the radar today is SSRM. This has been on the list already. We had a position in this a couple of weeks ago. It's starting to break above this 1118. We could see that was a level of supply. So we're starting to hold this level as a level of support. So what we'll be looking for here is to see if price kind of pulls back into this 1011, this 1163 to 1158 premises. That could be a backside scalp to the daily VWAP. Fashionably late scalp at 1170 to feel that push into 1175 and give us some upside continuation, maybe back into this 1424 where we have this fib extension. Next on the list here is AEVA. We got this price action holding above this year-to-date volume weighted average price. We got this potential higher low right here, pushing back. Has consolidated over the past 2 days a little bit above that year-to-date VWAP. So we'll be looking here is pull back to this 2-day VWAP, get back above 1765. That 1765 fuels that push, potentially back up to 1920 with a potential stop at this 1711 area right underneath this low right here. Next on the list, Dash. Pull up the daily chart here. We can see we're rallying into these prior highs, near all-time highs. We've been getting some supply here, but it's been consolidating. Maybe potentially putting in a potential cup and handle pattern here over the next couple of days, or maybe just wants to get going. So the trade plan for Dash is all these are pullback plays as we're gapping up. pull back into that 2-day VWAP, backside scalp into the daily VWAP, get back above, probably get more of a rejection. Ideally, backside scalp to that daily VWAP, roll over a little bit, get back above the daily VWAP, fashionably late to the pre-market high, fills that push back up to 214, 215. Monitoring potential stop at this 205.57 premises, or even a stop underneath here under this 202 premises. That's Dash. Next on the list here, AEM. Take a look at the daily time frame, holding above this year-to-date volume weighted average price high. 20-day moving average is starting to rise and will continue to rise as price holds this level here. So we got a nice shakeout yesterday, already got a rally up. Ideally now, this consolidates after this big push of 2%, just a couple bars here. So ideally, we get that pull back to the 2-day VWAP and our daily VWAP of the pre-market, get back above this 117.65 level, and that could be a push back up into this 119 area with a potential stop. We get this strength above 117.75 with a potential stop at this 116.77 area to feel that push up to 119. Last on the list is Box. We got Box up here gapping up on these earnings from Tuesday. So we'll see what happens here over the next, if this wants to hold these gains up here. So earnings play, ideally this flushes back up to this 35.70 area, undercuts it. This could be a backside scalp into the daily VWAP. Look for that fashionably late scalp, and maybe that's going to feel that push back to that 40 level. So that's the trade plan for today. If you like this kind of analysis, please like, subscribe.